Hey, everybody, welcome back. Happy Wednesday. This is Camille Essex. I'm host of the Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and creators connect. Right now, I'm tagging literally everyone. What I need you to do right now is to like, comment, and share. We have a phenomenal conversation going on, about to happen right now. Um, I love my guests. I know I say this, but this individual is literally like big sis. She's family. She is no stranger to the show. If you don't know, you're about to find out. The one and only Dr. Tamla Autry, she's back. We know she's a Tennessee girl, but now she's like Brooklyn in the house.
Yeah,
And it's also a D9 situation. If you didn't
of course,
know, you better
of
know.
course, of course. It's pink, not red.
Right. Situational awareness, people. But yes, we are here. Thank you, Regina. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to tag someone, Regina, like, comment, and share. Before we hop into everything, I do want to remind you all that the Speaker Podcast, we're out here. We're on Facebook at the Speaker Podcast. Follow me on Instagram at Camille.Essick. Y'all, I've released my website, relaunched it. It's out, CamilleEssick.com. It's available. And I would love to hear from you. You can also send me an email at Lord, what's my email? The Speaker Podcast at gmail.com. Y'all, it's Wednesday. I'm sorry. But be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. With that being said, thank you, Dr. Tam. Thank you for returning to the show. Those that don't know you, let the people know a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Of course, of course. First and foremost, I praise God for you, Camille, and this wonderful platform of the Speak Her podcast. One thing about it is I also got to rep Alabama. That's where I'm originally from, via Nashville, and also now in Brooklyn/Jersey. I am, first of all, a lover of Jesus Christ. That's all in my core. I'm also an educator, been educating for many years, administration. And I just really love just giving back and serving the community and missionary work. So that's who I am. I'm just trying to ever grow closer to God, ever be able to mentor others, give back to the community. And that's mostly like kind of in a shebang who I
I
am.
love it. I love it. I love it. And in that space, as far as in the world of education and doing outreach and ministry missions work, what does it mean to you? Just gonna hop right into the conversation as far as in those spheres, building authentic connections and communities in those spaces.
It means everything. I think that's the core of the situation because whenever I think of everything as ministry, even my job, my natural job, whether I'm
Mhm.
doing that education wise or when I go on missions, the core of is trust. And I feel like that whenever you go out and you try to serve people and connect with people, they know if they can really trust you by the love that you carry and the integrity and the respect. And I believe that as you portray that love and actually try to connect in a authentic way, that people will trust you. Right now, the missions changed my life, Camille, in such a way that I started giving back to the community here in Brooklyn. There's an Arab friendship center where people of different backgrounds, Syrians, Lebanese, and everything. And they don't look like me. They don't sound like me. They're older than me, but yet
Mhm.
it's a way that I'm able to teach them English, but at the same time, offer them Christ. And the way they're able to connect with me, they like to cook for me. They invite me over. And that's because they trust me. And that goes
Yeah.
back to making sure that having that authentic connections to know that you're not doing this to be seen, but you're doing this because you really care.
That's good. And now I know globally, right now with the situation in the Gaza, Palestine
Yeah.
area, how is it for you in those spaces navigating building relationships when on a religious standpoint and political global standpoint, maneuvering in those spaces and handling so with sensitivity, being a Christian
Mhm.
and connecting with Muslims? What is that like?
I think it's a sticky situation because on one hand, when I go to work, I have like my coworkers. I have those who are Egyptians and who are Muslims, and I also have in the same room those who are Hasidic Jews and Orthodox, and I'm
Mhm.
able to relate to both of them and still show love and everything. And even when I'm like ministering to those who I serve and I volunteer at the center who are Muslim, I have Muslim friends
Mhm.
but I also have a prayer group that we pray for in Israel. So it is such a sticky situation, but I go back to it that we gotta love. We still gotta show love. I hate what is going on. I hate that there are many people, especially the young people, who are losing their lives. But I still pray for Jerusalem. I pray for the peace of Israel, as the scripture tells us in Psalm 122. But through it all, I show love, and I believe that the love of God is going to compel those on both sides. And
Mhm.
I'm just looking to God that He will answer, that He's sovereign, and that He already knows what's going to happen. So, yeah.
Mhm. Wow, I can imagine what that's like, but the fact that even despite what's happening from
Yeah.
a global standpoint, that you're still, and I hate to use the word allowed, but how they've still opened up the space for you to come in and you're able to work side
Yes.
by side. I think that's a very interesting dynamic. And the fact that I would think they even respect you more knowing the situation that you're still willing to come and to still collaborate with them in that capacity.
Yeah, most of, and I think it goes back to because I have took the time out to build relationships with them. I have a friend who's like, I don't understand what's going on in Israel. Who's
Right.
Muslim? I hate this, and I'll go back to what we can agree to disagree, but at the same time, I'm still going to show forth you love. And I just pray that God will, change the hearts of people because only He can do that. But I want to still show you love. That doesn't mean I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, as long as we respect each other and that love is at the center, they know they can still trust me. So
That's really good. And even building those authentic connections, something that you touched on, I think the optimum word here for that is trust,
yes.
right? Being in this space knowing that even though we come from different walks of life, our faith levels are different, but I still trust you to respect my beliefs, just
Hmm.
like you trust them to respect yours. And I think despite the differences, exercising trust and also giving it but also receiving it. I think that also helps in building those healthy relationships.
Most definitely. Most
That's
definitely.
that's really good. Going, deeper into our conversation, first of all, if you have not done so, y'all, please like, comment, and share. We see people coming in. One of my classmates, hey, Sterling, thank you, tapping in, and Regina, thank you. Please tag someone as we get into this conversation with Dr. Tamla Autry. So, kind of pivoting a little bit, we're out here, we're single, and we hear a lot of different narratives and conversations, some what I call like the red pill, the blue pill, pink pill conversations. How do we as Christian singles, saved singles, filter through these narratives and decipher, what we're taking in, what we're not, what we are taking in versus what we're not taking in? And I'm pretty sure you hear things too online, but what
Hmm.
do you say to those? It's so much coming in and
Hmm.
still trying to remain
Hmm.
positive,
Right.
maintain our faith,
Yeah.
but also facing some realities as well, just because cultural norms are
Hmm.
changing.
Hmm. Most this is so funny that you asked this question. It is. I feel like it's very important because even I deal with this, and I have to check myself over again because you could look at culture and you could look at even your time. You could look at your age. You could look at other people and you say, I should be this way. I should be married by now or remarried or whatever your situation is.
Right.
But I've learned not to rush God. And what I say is that you have to trust God in the process, and sometimes the process can be hard. But to know that God knows what's best for you, I've learned not to rush Him. I know sometimes I want it my way. I was like, oh, if only I could have a man by my side right now. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to just settle, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
And especially if I see red flags, I don't want to do that, all over again. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that whenever I start getting impatient, I can only speak for myself. That
Mhm.
means that I stop trusting God in the process. So therefore, I have to go back and say, I got to take my eyes off of what social media is saying, also what other people and they're booed up and everything, and say, hey, God, I know that when it's time for me to meet that right person, that you're going to send that person for me. One of the things right now that's going on is I don't know about you, Camille, but online dating. I'm so scared of it.
I literally just
Scared
had this
of it.
conversation with someone earlier today. Go ahead. because I have a story to tell. But go ahead.
But I've seen it work. I've seen it work. Even my dad and my stepmom, who has been a blessing to our lives, they met that way, and it has been working for them. And I see,
What?
I am so scared to just,
Me
lift up my
too.
head and say hi. You know what I'm saying? But it's one of those things that I'm seeing that's work. It works for my sores and everything like that. But it's so much, if we allow it, it can be so much pressure, to just go out there and get somewhere. It's about to be hot. It's about to be summer.
It
You know,
is already hot in
outside.
Tennessee. Yes.
I'm talking about vacation, where the boo at, what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't want to look over at my bed if I, and be like, oh, I just married another person who doesn't suffice me, who doesn't love God, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to go through
Right.
that, through that. So therefore, I'm learning to wait and trust on God and know that He will send me who He has for me and not rush the process, because it will come. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
just can't get in my own way.
Yes. Many moons ago, I attempted the online app thing, and we were chatting for a little while, and at some point decided to meet up for lunch
Mm.
and got catfished. Whole catfish.
Oh,
Like, the fish
oh,
was this big. Like, the only thing that was accurate, he was a member of Phi Beta Sigma,
okay.
and he was a DJ, but everything else was a whole lie. Like,
Oh,
Pinocchio, your nose is down the street. He looked like Chewbacca. I don't know if you remember that scene in Daddy's Little Girl when Gabrielle Union went out to dinner with the guy. He was saying scrimp, and it was like he was doing that.
no.
Yes, like, and those that know me, I try to dress very nice and look, like a
Yes.
lady or whatever. Had a little flower in my hair because it was summertime,
Uh-huh.
and he comes in with this long, what I call the hip hop 2000s white t-shirt down to his
Oh
knees,
no.
sagging. The t-shirt it wasn't white. I don't know if it was A Cruz or whatever, or like, you bleach something too many times and it's the whites was not whiting. It was just a lot.
Oh no.
Lips very dark. So I'm like, okay, he smoked. It was just a lot going on. And I should have known something was wrong because when I came in, there were some ladies in the vestibule of the restaurant, like, oh my gosh, they were like older Caucasian women. They're just, oh my gosh, you just look so pretty. You look so nice. And I was like, yeah, I'm here meeting somebody for the first time for a date. And we're talking and their face changed. And they were like, and I
Oh
was
no.
like, and they were kind of like, you're like, yeah, he's behind you. And I turned around. Oh gosh, it was a mess. Like,
Oh,
and during the conversation, he's using profanity. He's talking all
oh,
loud. He used the N word all out, and you can hear in the restaurant. He was asking for not. Can we have more bread? Can we get some more bread? Like he said, it was so bad. And I wanted to crawl under the table, and people were looking, and I'm just like, and the waiter was looking at me like, if you're okay, blink twice.
no.
It was bad, sis.
It
It was
was an
terrible.
experience. It
It
was
was
an experience.
terrible. Then I was like, this is no, it's a no for me. And so that's why, like, the whole dating app, I can't. I'm old school. I
Hmm.
need to see you in person. Like they said last night, I need to see your eyes.
Right. Right. Your real
Like
eyes.
you have dead eyes, crazy eyes. Like I need to know, I need to see, I need to discern. So yeah, that's my tale on that. So
Yeah, but I don't want to. I still don't want to give up. Like
oh,
it
definitely
can still
not.
happen that way. It can still happen that way. But I
Yeah,
definitely. Oh my God, bless your heart.
yeah, it was, and thank goodness this was like long ago, but yeah, I was traumatized.
I-
I was traumatized for sure. So just going into that, like we look at dynamics as far as these fairy tale narratives as far as how relationships are defined now versus into what we look at as far as gender roles, and being honest, because our grandmothers, our aunties, whatever from time ago, they did not have the opportunities that we had as far as business, enterprise,
Mhm,
education,
mhm,
ministry, etc. So yes, they were more so prone to be more at home
mhm.
versus now, we're working women, we're doing so many things. And not to say it cannot be done, but looking at the roles within the home, and the reality of what that looks like in today's society. What are your views on that?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm all for the independent woman. I'm all for, I'm out there as far as working.
Yeah.
I went to school full time. You know what I'm saying? I volunteer. I did my services and everything. But at the same time, I would like to go home and still maintain a home and prepare a home for
Yeah.
my. And I think it's important to have balance because we were created. I'm going to be honest, we were created to be helpers and help meet to the man. And I think that's so important not to lose that in such a time as this. As far as whether you are a minister, an evangelist, or whether you are entrepreneur or whatever you're doing or making big things. One of the things I like about it is going back to, if I could say, one of the judges. And we go back to one of the judges who was a lady, by the way, in the Bible. She still had her husband. She still tended to her husband. Even the virtuous woman, she did all of those things, and she still went back and tended to both her family, her man, her children. And I think it's important, especially when we go thinking about our country and the world, especially with the gender role identities and things like thing. I think the core, and I believe the core is family. So my opinion, and just going based off of the Bible, is that we could still do whatever God has called us to do, work in the ministry, work in purpose, be the best that we can be. But at the same time, we needed to make sure that we're supporting our family and supporting our help meet, because that's what we were called to do. We were called to serve God and also to be a helper to
Mhm.
our husband. And I know that might not be like,
Yeah.
all out
Everyone's different, yeah,
there.
because it's like what works
Yeah.
for your home. I feel
What works
like in that standpoint, it's like what works for your home, what keeps the peace in your home,
right.
because maybe he's a better I mean, I'm a very good cook, and I know what I can do in the kitchen, but maybe he's even better than me, or you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like what works for your
What
home and what
works?
that
What
chemistry looks
works?
like, and I think it's important to have those conversations
A
to
prompt.
see what the dynamic would be. Um, I do think some people come in with these false expectations, but that's only because you have not communicated your needs or
Yeah.
even had a conversation and just assuming. And I think that's maybe where, the confusion comes in. But I think it's really important to sit down and have those discussions and evaluate what works for the two of you and just to work off that and not to allow outside narratives dictates
Right.
you know what goes on in your home. But I definitely, hear your side and agree with points on your side too. But at the end of the day, I feel like what works best for your family. And maybe the both of you are so busy that maybe once a week, if you're financially able to have someone do meal prep for you, or
Most
you two
definitely.
are a way to bond together that you all cook the meal for the week and meal prep together. You just never
Most
know.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to make clarification, like supporting your family. I mean, I am all for, if you need a maid or you need somebody to help you, please do.
Yes.
Like you said, what works for your home, or even, like we all have one bank account or we have separate, as long as it's communicated beforehand and there's
Mhm.
trust, I think that will be fine.
Yes, I agree. And also, like myself being single, and a couple months ago, I just felt overwhelmed with grocery shopping. Like I'm already doing other things, and then having to stop at the store during rush hour during the week or
Yeah.
even on the weekend where I don't feel like going out. So I got on the Walmart app, and I got a
You do the
subscription.
Walmart app too?
Listen, I was like, until the man of God shows up, I'm a soft life myself in small increments. And that's one of my little luxuries. I'm like, I can sacrifice $12 a month. That's
That's right.
equivalent to one visit to Chick-fil-A. I
Okay.
can give up a Chick-fil-A visit for you delivering my groceries. And so I can sit at work and I'm like, what do I want for dinner for the next couple of days? Get whatever ingredients I need or don't need.
Hmm.
Say, hey, I need it here by the time I get home from work. Set my time. I get home, my groceries at the door. If it's Friday,
I love it.
working remotely or whatever, or if I want it Saturday morning, it's here by 8 a.m. or 9 o'clock so I can get the bonnet off my head and get to my door because that's
Come
not
on
how
now.
we show up in the world. And it has really removed so much stress because I don't have to be around people walking around in their pajamas and bonnets. I don't have to deal with screaming toddlers. It's just made my life so much easier just simply ordering groceries.
It's funny, and I know. this is more than groceries, but it's funny that you said that because believe it or not, Walmart is not big up here. And so therefore, in my area, we do have a Walmart. And I was like, I was just so tired this past Saturday. And normally I would go in a Walmart or either go and pick it up. This time I was like, Camille, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get them to deliver it. I think it was like $9 or something to deliver.
Yeah.
It changed. It blessed my soul. It
Oh,
blessed.
somebody do it.
Well, they came up the elevator. They came
Yeah.
to my apartment,
Yeah.
and I heard a knock on the door because I was gonna go meet them in the front of the
Mhm.
entry. I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
And don't let it be raining outside. Oh, it's storming.
I mean, people, if when you're single, you understand the
Yeah.
importance of this. Oh, it
Yes.
bless my soul.
It
I was like,
doesn't it.
this is what it means to be an AKA. I'm just kidding.
Or a pretty poodle because we wear pearls too.
I had to throw that in there.
I not threw it right on back. But it's just like I'm single. Who is carrying all this water?
Come on now. Come on.
Who? So I love it. But those are the things I mean as far as like as singles, like
Yeah.
we're so focused on, oh my God, I don't have a husband or whatever. I'm like, ma'am, there's so many other things you can do and
Most definitely.
occupy till he come. Like focus.
Come on now. Occupy till he comes and embrace it. Embrace
Yeah.
it. It's just a season. Just embrace it.
Yes.
Okay.
And in this time, Dr. Tam, I'm learning and I am enjoying this space of focus being selfish in a positive way, focusing
Mhm,
on myself. I
mhm.
call it the 3B plan, working on my brand, my body, and my brain.
I love
And
that.
and there's some ladies from my church. One of them is on tonight, Regina, myself, Adelia, a couple other ladies. We got the walking pads from Amazon. And so we're doing the 10 steps a day challenge. And every day like, hey, sis, you get your steps and you got to screenshot and put it on your social media and tag each other, things
Okay.
like that. I've been, I won't say abused, but I've really dug into my library card and getting books and reading books, working on things with, podcasting behind the scenes, spending more time taking in devotion in the morning. And now I have a routine in the morning where, it's, prayer, find a sermon, Bible class from last night, rewatch it, audio Bible is wonderful, and I have a do not disturb scheduler on my phone, so that way I cannot take off my D&D till after 9 a.m.
Hmm.
Just
I
the
like that.
little things like that. So what are things that you do in this time? And it's not killing time, but we're literally, hey, Auntie Karen, hey, Kia, um, just
Sorry.
what are things that you're doing in this space of being single where you're really pouring into yourself, building yourself, encouraging yourself, even if that person doesn't come, not to be a great wife to the person, but being awesome to Tamala,
I love that, and thank you for that question. I love that you said brains, beauty, and
your
what is
body.
your body. You got to copyright that.
Your brand, your brain, and your body.
Copyright that. Copyright that. One of the things I am doing is, and I know that I'm an early person. I wake up very, very early, not just for
Mhm.
work, but I wake up very early. Like, I don't even want to tell you what time I wake up because I know that once I get busy, it's on. So, one of the main things I do is I set time for my devotion time.
Mhm.
And with that time, not only my prayer, reading my word, but it's my time to just also get peace. And outside of that, during the day, what I am doing is something I love what you're saying is being intentional about also listening to positive music.
Mhm.
I have devotions. Also, I want to actually pull a plug. One of my coworkers, who's also a minister, her book just came out called Untangled Thoughts. I read them
Okay.
in the morning too, for affirmations. And also, outside of the spiritual, I shop. I make sure that I go shopping. I'm also working out in the gym. And I'm making sure that I'm trying not to eat over 8 o'clock right now, to be
Mm.
honest, because we got to take care of our bodies.
Yes, my cutoff is 7.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. Because, our bodies are temples. And I
Yeah.
try to just make sure that I also splurge on myself. But at the same time, it's all about positivity. I like to surround myself around positive people because
Yes.
I notice that once I do, there's so much going on. so much negativity that it starts to drain me. So I've learned how to, say no to certain things. And that's hard for me, Camille. And just also know that no, I can't do that right now. No, I can't, listen to you talk for like 30 minutes about something, especially when I told you no, we could do this. So I've learned how to center myself around positiveness because I need peace.
That's good. But okay, so not trying to be super churchy. So my pastor Sunday, he was talking about impartation, but he was like, impartation doesn't always just come from your pastor or your woman of God. He was
Mhm.
like, every conversation that you have is a type of impartation, good or bad. And so when you said that, that immediately made me go back to made me think about what he was saying. And it's like, what conversations are we entertaining when you talk to someone? How do
Mhm.
you feel at the end of that conversation? Like, is it positive? Is it encouraging? Were they messy? Was it gossipy? Were they giving advice? Was the poor reciprocal?
Mhm.
These are questions we should ask. And like you said, if it's not positive, if it's not of good report,
Come on.
I shouldn't be thinking on these things.
Come on now. Come on now. That's not church. That's just right.
So I think it's good to exercise that emotional intelligence to
Yeah.
put those boundaries and then stand on business with your boundaries. Like
Come
that's
on now.
important.
Come on now. Because if not, they'll take you there and they'll be going on about their business, but you'll still be at home, not restless, and have taken in that energy, taken in that spirit, to be honest.
Mhm.
And that it has also like did something to you. So therefore you have to be careful with your spirit. You have to be careful about, like you say, your impartations. And you just have to be careful about your peace. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important these days.
That's really good. So, going on to the next point, just because I'm really loving how this conversation and where it's going, circling back to those narratives, because in those conversations, where our use that word again, authentic connections and community, putting in those boundaries, where do we go from there once we've created these communities? How do we facilitate and maintain those connections and how can I say this? Do so in a way where it's not one-sided, where the person's just taking, 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 but the space is reciprocal.
Yeah, I think it goes back to our first conversation of building that not only boundaries but that trust.
Mhm.
One of the things I really do appreciate about my bestie, I'm giving a shout out to her, is Amber, in Nashville. She is hours away from me, and but one of the things that we do is we talk almost weekly. Praise Jesus. She'd always agree with me. I'd always agree with her. But one of the things that we do know is that we trust each other. And I know that if I need someone to pray for me or to even be silly with, who can still respect me and my character, and like vice versa, I know also in a conversation that okay, she needs to talk more on this time.
Mhm.
Or if I call and she's like, okay, friend, okay, what's going on? And I know I can talk. It's because we have established that trust. And I believe that with
Mhm.
any connection you make, there should be some trust, that also that hey, no matter what we're talking, I'm going to listen, I'm going to agree, but I'm also going to tell you if you're right or wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it goes back to trust. I believe that any type of connection, any type of relationship that does not have trust, whether it is spiritual, even if it is in business, whether it's natural, that means that to me is a form of fakeness. You know what I'm saying? It's You're really an associate. You're not really a friend. So I think it goes back to trust. If I trust you, I'll be compelled not only to listen to you, but also to give you feedback, and you'll be able to use that feedback and know it's for your good and not for being messy.
I like that because iron does sharpen iron, and in
Yeah.
that trust, like you said, knowing that if you do call me out, that I know you're not being malicious and it's only out of
Right.
a space of love and not because you're trying to be shady or, you know, nasty. So, that's
Right. And I
really,
think
really
it
good.
also goes to being mature enough to receive it, because,
Mhm.
she calls me out a lot and I'd be like, okay. I'd be like,
But
okay.
knowing it's coming from an authentic and genuine place, which
Right.
goes back to that word. That's the word of the night, authenticity, right? So
Authenticity. Yes.
that's really good. Um, so as we get closer to the end of this conversation, do you have like any takeaways or like nuggets or gems that you would like to leave with the viewers and listeners? Um, as we start to kind of wrap up this conversation, also where people can reach you on social media. And then also, do you have any projects? Like what's
Oh
new,
my
what's
God.
coming up your way?
First and foremost, I want to say again, thank you, Camille. You're truly a sister who I've bonded with through this platform, and I just pray that God continually use you. You
Oh,
can always reach me. I'm so approachable, you guys. You can reach me Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Tamla Autry. Anytime. I do have some projects. God is really starting to hone on my heart that will be coming forth.
oh, I want the exclusive when they drop. Like you got to come back
Most
so we can push
definitely, most definitely.
that.
So stay tuned. But most importantly, key takeaways is this has been a wonderful conversation. I think it goes back to that word that you said, authenticity. With so much going on in the world, I two takeaways right here. I do feel like there's a move to get back to prayer,
Mhm.
and to just make sure that we are truly praying. I believe that God is revealing a lot in His Word through prayer, and that He just want us to really love Him and to really value His presence. And even though with so much going on and watching the TV and social media, don't forget His presence. His presence is everything. And number two is we need all of us, including myself, to walk in our purpose in such a time as this. We souls are really needing to be saved. So whatever it takes, I'm talking to myself and you. Let us. I'm thinking about Esther for such a time as this. Let us move quickly because again, this world is not going to get better. So it's not a doom message, but it's a call and an urgency. I don't know about you, but there's an urgency in the spirit that we really got to get about our purpose. The devil may throw some distractions our way, but we believe by the blood of Jesus that God has already taken care of that. And for those, also feel this, if you don't mind, right quick, Camille. For those, and again, as I'm saying this, I'm also talking to myself. For those who have gotten distracted or there have been hurdles in your way, I want to say get back up, do what God has told you to do in obedience to His word, and just know that God is going to open those doors for you. But there is an urgency. There is an urgency because it's becoming more worldly. Even the entertainment, gospel entertainment, a lot of stuff is just becoming a lot of worldly. And God is looking for His people to worship Him in spirit and in truth. So the urgency is there. Wherever, whoever you are, let's do it. Let's do what God has called us to do.
Amen to all of that, all the above. Thank you. I hope everyone that you got something from this. Hold on just a moment, Dr. Tim. Everybody, be sure to connect with me. I'm on Facebook at the Speaker Podcast, Instagram, Camille.Essick. Y'all, my website is launched, it's out there. Subscribe, CamilleEssick.com. Yeah, yay. We're gonna yay that. And I would love to hear from you. Shoot me an email at the Speaker Podcast at gmail.com. Tune in tomorrow night. We're gonna be back, same time, same channel. Adelia Johnson is coming through. We're gonna have a really, really good conversation. So please pop in. Cannot wait to see you there. Everybody, this is Camille Essick. I'm host of the Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and critics connect. Be blessed. See you tonight. Well, see you tomorrow. All right, y'all be blessed. Bye.